What's up everyone? Before I get into my review of Wonder, I just wanted to wish a big happy Thanksgiving to you all. I am very grateful for all of your support and you guys tuning in to watch my movie reviews. I know my viewership is pretty small but also pretty loyal as well, so I appreciate that, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. So here's my review of Wonder. Wonder is a story of a disfigured little boy who has been protected by his parents from the real world. They homeschool him, they don't let him out of the house too much. He's gone through 27 surgeries for all kind of issues with his body and his face. But now that he's entering the 5th grade, they decided, you know what, it's time to get him out there in the real world. They enroll him in a regular school so that he can interact with regular kids, and that's where the movie goes. Now, let me just say that I absolutely loved this movie. And to no surprise, it's directed by Steven Chbosky, who also directed Perks of Being a Wallflower about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And that movie actually ended up in my top 5 for that year. So I was really anticipating what he could do with this story. And sure enough, he delivers another excellent film. And let me get into why. First of all, the performances are so good. Jacob Tremblay, man, this guy was so good in the movie Room. Should have been nominated for an Oscar, but he plays a disfigured young kid named Augie, and even with his face all covered up with the makeup and the prosthetics, whatnot to make him disfigured, there's a lot of soul in his eyes. He really reveals a lot through his eyes and his mannerisms, and you really feel for this kid who's being exposed to all of this negativity just based on his appearance and the bullying, and you really get to empathize for him, and he does a bang-up job in this role as the main character. Julia Roberts plays his mom. To be quite honest, Julia Roberts has been kind of quiet the last 5 to 10 years, kind of picking her roles very carefully, but this is the best performance she's given in a very long time. This is the kind of role that usually go to like a Jennifer Garner, let's say, but to the film's credit, they've elevated that performance by casting Julia Roberts, and she does an excellent job as the mom. Owen Wilson plays a great dad. He has a great chemistry with his kids, kind of that goofy dad who just has fun with his kids, and he did a great job. And all the supporting kids as well, they all were great, convincing in the characters they were supposed to be. So overall, bang up job by all the actors. Performances were excellent all around. Now what I also liked was the way the story was presented. In conventional films, this movie would have revolved around Augie, the disfigured boy. Everything would have been about him and how everyone reacts to him and how he reacts back. But to the film's credit, they've kind of mixed it up a little bit, and they show you different focuses from the perspectives of different characters. There's a story from his big sister, a story from one of the friends in school, a story from even the sister's best friend, and you can kind of see how all of their perspectives tie in. Augie is, of course, in all of their lives in one way or another, but you really get a more three-dimensional feel for these characters through that way of storytelling. To be quite honest, it didn't quite work 100%. I felt like the concept might have been a little bit overused, let's say. There was one character's arc that I thought really wasn't quite that necessary, but even so, I did welcome the change of the storytelling style, and it really worked for this film. And films like these, they can be very saccharine, very manipulative, very sugary sweet, like, oh, just kind of pulling at your heartstrings. And don't get me wrong, this film will pull at every heartstring that you have, but it's full of characters that are real. Augie himself, he's not perfect, and no one in the movie is. They all have their flaws, and I really thought that was a great way to kind of ground this movie and not make it such a Hallmark movie of the week, let's say. And that really brings the film to another level that you can really relate to it and really get into the story. And I mentioned about pulling the heartstrings. This film will get to you right here, man. Even me, I have to admit, I broke down quite a few times actually. There's so many tender moments in this film. It just gets to you, and if it doesn't, your heart is made of stone, man, because if you do not get the feels from this movie, you would not get it from any movie. You have no soul whatsoever. So be prepared for some waterworks. Bring some tissues, bring some napkins, because you will need them. If I really had to nitpick this film and point out one of its flaws, it would be the ending. As I kind of saw it building up, I was hoping that it wouldn't really get to where I thought it was going, and sure enough it did. And I was like, oh, well, that's a little predictable, but you know what? That's okay, because overall, Wonder is an excellent film. It's a great film for the family. It's a great film for the holidays. It's got really good performances by great actors. The direction is excellent. It's got awesome storytelling. It's very heartwarming, it's inspirational, and it'll get you right here, man, right in the, you know what. So Wonder gets a 9 out of 10. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and come back next time for another movie review.